Genetically modified foods cause cancer, and I think you'll agree with me, there is a lot of sickness on the planet today. Increase hygiene, sanitation, and nutrition.
Did you know that DNA damage is one of the underlying causes of serious diseases like cancer? According to expert Barbara O'Neill, there are 8 hidden factors that silently harm our DNA, leading to significant impacts on overall health. The good news is that the human body has an incredible ability to heal itself when given the right care. In this video, we'll explore these harmful factors and learn how to protect our DNA to maintain a healthy, energized body. Before diving into the culprits that attack DNA, let's first take a closer look at what DNA is.
What's the DNA made up of? The outside strands are made up of polysaccharides. Sounds like a complicated word, but it actually isn't. Polysaccharides just means many sugars. And everything we eat is made up of many sugars.
So what can we do if DNA gets damaged?
The human body was designed to heal itself, and it will heal itself if you give it the right conditions. And to understand how the human body heals itself, we need to go down to the smallest component, which is the cell. Right down in the middle of each cell is the DNA. The DNA is the genetic code. It's inside the nucleus. We are constantly being remade, and we're being remade according to the DNA. Did you know that our eye cells are remade every 1 to 2 days? The next quickest are the cells that line our gastrointestinal tract. They're remade every 3 to 5 days. We've got a new skin every month. We have new bones about every 3 months. We have a new liver about every 6 weeks. So we're constantly being remade. I think it takes approximately 2 years. After 2 years, we have a new body. This body is constantly being remade, and it's being remade according to the genetic code inside every cell of the body. Why is there damage in the DNA? Especially when you realize that there are enzymes that are constantly threading up and down those strands, and their role is to heal any glitches.
When DNA in the body is damaged, our ability to self-repair is significantly reduced. This can lead to a variety of health problems and even increase the risk of developing serious diseases like cancer. By understanding and eliminating these causes, we can actively support the body's natural healing process and even enhance its ability to fight off illnesses. This is positive news that anyone can apply to achieve long-term health improvements. So what are the key factors we need to pay special attention to? The first factor is mineral deficiency in our daily diet.
So what I want to look at now is what causes the damage. 92% of DNA damage, the research is showing, 92% is caused by a mineral deficiency. So how could we be mineral deficient? 40 years ago, we didn't know what kale was. We didn't know what rocket was. Notice all these greens are coming along. When I was a little girl growing up in Australia, we had lettuce. I think that's about the only green we had, lettuce. And even then, Mum threw the dark green outside, just had the sweet core. But if you noticed in the last 15 years, now we can have cos lettuce. We can have those cos hearts using all those dark green leafies. The reason I mention dark green leafies is because that's the highest source of minerals. We should be eating dark green leafy vegetables every day. And if you don't eat dark green leafy vegetables every day, you really should have a dose of green barley. I don't know about you, I'd rather have a nice big delicious salad with a lemon and olive oil and Celtic salt and crushed garlic dressing. In his book, The Calcium, Thompson, he shows that 50 years ago there was twice as much minerals in the soil. If I grow a tomato, then when that crop's finished, I never put another crop in until I fed the soil. Because that tomato plant has taken nutrients out of the soil to produce the tomato. But it takes certain nutrients out that the beetroot's not going to take out. So I always alternate a top crop, and then when that's harvested, I feed the soil, then I'll put a root crop in. It might be beetroot, it might be carrot, potatoes. So alternating. That's how we should garden, but there are farmers today that do the same again and again and again. And what they do, because it takes time to grow organically, it takes time to feed the soil. So there's something called superphosphate. I say superphosphate produces show ponies of vegetables, looks good, doesn't taste much good. Have you ever eaten a strawberry straight off the plant? The taste. When you eat a strawberry straight off the plant, ideally organic, the flavour is intense. Do you know what you're tasting? You're tasting minerals. When I was in New Zealand, I stayed on an organic farm. I was doing meetings every night, and they grow sweet potato. In New Zealand, they call it kumara. And every day we had sweet potato chips. You call them French fries, or they do it in the oven. Deep purple, beautiful. But the reason I'm telling you this is out the front yard, out the front door of the house, there was this huge apple tree with these huge apples. So every morning, just before breakfast, I would walk out, I would pick an apple and I'd say, "Thank you, Father in heaven," and bite it. Did I wash it? No need to wash it. I wash it if it's been sprayed. I wash it if it's got manure on it. I wash it if it's got dirt on it. But do you know what I'm getting? I'm getting traces of B12. Because B12 is an airborne bacteria. But the flavour was just incredible. It was just this burst of flavour. What am I tasting? Minerals. Have you ever picked an apple up from the shop? You bite it, and if you were blind, you wouldn't even know what you were eating. This has got no flavour because the soils are deficient.
So, to prevent mineral deficiencies, we should eat plenty of dark green, leafy vegetables, preferably organic and fresh. The next cause of disease is chemicals.
Chemicals. It is estimated 30,000 new chemicals are introduced to mankind every year. Make a decision to become chemical free. Go for organically grown fruits and vegetables as much as possible. One form of chemicals, not often seen as such, is drug therapy. Drugs never cure disease. They just change the form and location of the disease, and I'm referring to their side effects. Now, if someone's been on say, antidepressants or cortisone drugs for many years, I do caution you must not stop them straight away. It's important, if you are on any medication, to find someone who can work with you to show you alternatives and slowly come off them. It can be quite dangerous to stop them outright.
Next is genetically modified foods.
Genetically modified foods. Genetically modified foods cause cancer because genetically modified foods are a result of the DNA of two species being spliced together. What is known is the substances that are broken down in the body after eating genetically modified foods are not known in the body and have the ability to tamper and even damage our DNA.
The fourth cause of disease is stimulants.
Stimulants. Stimulants have the ability to tamper with your DNA. One is sugar. We have 400 diabetics being diagnosed every day in Australia at the moment. That's an epidemic. Diabetes was not known on the planet till sugar was well established. What does sugar do? How does it cause diabetes? It causes a massive blood sugar level rise, and then the pancreas has to respond with a massive amount of insulin to get that blood sugar level down again. And then the person usually goes too low, and so they go and get another little bit of sugar. And so what they're often doing, you'll find that their blood sugars are like this all day long. Crisis, 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 crisis. And eventually the pancreas just says, "I've had enough," and it doesn't produce insulin anymore. Diabetes mellitus simply means sweet urine. So when the pancreas isn't releasing insulin, then the insulin can't be stored in the cell, it stays in the blood and it spills out into the urine. In Australia today, we're looking at about 4th generation sugar abuse. Granted, many people don't realise they're abusing sugar, but it is a highly addictive drug. Caffeine. Caffeine interferes with the neurotransmitters in the brain, and when the neurotransmitters in the brain are being interfered with daily, every day, coffee, Coke, chocolate, then that couple can give birth to a baby who has a tendency or a susceptibility to mental illness because of the disruption in neurotransmitters that constantly happening begins to affect the DNA. Tobacco, it's well researched, not only the effect of the unborn baby when the woman smokes, but also the defective DNA that a woman gives through. Not only a woman, but of course the father also can give a defective DNA through to the child. Alcohol. Fetal alcohol syndrome is a condition that children can be born with to parents that drink 2 drinks a week. That's not very much, is it? There's a lot of information coming out more and more today on how damaging the alcohol is, not only to the cells of the human body, but how it affects the DNA.
The 5th cause of disease is electromagnetic fields.
Electromagnetic field excess. We are electrical people. We have a spark of electricity in every cell. Our nervous system specifically is our electrical system. Electromagnetic field has the ability to tamper or interfere with your electromagnetic field, causing damage at the cellular level, even at the DNA level. In humans, they are 10 hertz. That's the electromagnetic field in humans. And that's, I think it's 10 revolutions per second. And with huge power lines, you often get a 50 hertz, and it's well known to cause damage at the cellular level. The farmer knows that he cannot let his cattle graze under those huge towers because stillborns will be a result, even deformities in the little calves. Be very careful of the room that you're sleeping in. We spend a third of our life in that room. Be careful of any electrical equipment in your room. Don't charge your mobile phone in your bedroom, or your iPhone, iPad, iPod, computer, television. If you've got no choice, try and do it way over in the far corner. So always address where you're sleeping. Even where the head of your bed is, the wall. Make sure there's not the meter box the other side of the wall.
The 6th cause of disease is anger.
Anger. I have a book called Lessons from Water by a Japanese scientist, and he did a lot of research on water, and he found that when he shouted at the water, had heavy rock music, anger, violence, and then he'd look at the water under the microscope and the perfect forms would all be marred. And then he would do another experiment where he had classical music and love, joy, peace, even those words. What he found amazing was if he put the word hate on the jar that the water was, it marred them. If he put the word love on the jar where the water was, it didn't mar them at all. Interesting. And we are much water. We are 75% water from the neck down, 85% water from the neck up. And so when a person is constantly subjected to anger and violence, it can damage the cells to the point of even damaging the DNA.
The 7th cause of disease is aging. Aging is one of the primary factors contributing to declining health and an increased risk of various diseases. As the body ages, cells gradually lose their ability to regenerate and repair damage, especially at the DNA level. This process weakens the immune system, reducing its ability to fight infections and illnesses. Additionally, the accumulation of free radicals in the body over time contributes to chronic inflammation and cell damage. The final cause of disease that Barbara identifies is yeast.
Fungus. If you look in nature, you will see that fungus can splice into the DNA of many plants. The people that live in the mouldy house have to get out of the mouldy house. So the smoker has to stop smoking. Antibiotics should be used only as life-saving resorts.
To support the body's natural healing process and ensure long-term health, it is essential to eliminate the 8 major causes of harm to the body. These factors include mineral deficiencies, toxic chemicals, genetically modified foods, electromagnetic fields, stimulants such as sugar, caffeine, tobacco, and alcohol, negative emotions like anger, aging, and mold exposure. The good news? We can start taking action today to protect our DNA and help the body heal naturally. If you'd like to learn more specific solutions to combat these harmful factors, feel free to comment, "I'm interested," below this video. Thank you for joining me on today's journey to explore better health. Don't forget, caring for your DNA is the key to lasting health and disease prevention. If you found this information helpful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you won't miss any valuable content in the future. See you in the next video.